How's everybody? Oh, the tangled webs we weave. Give it a moment. Hi, Z Scott. Why is this always so tangled? It's supposed to be like you're supposed to be able to do this, and it's supposed to like come undone. Never works. It never works. Ugh. I always feel kind of nauseous right before I go live. It's like this, like, excuse me. Not anxiety. It's like actual, like, kind of nauseousness. It's a magnetic thing. Maybe it's because, like, I prepare for the broadcast or something. Ooh. Can you hear me? Hola, can you hear me? Hi, Lisa Rose. What's up, girl? I had seen Zeus Scott's comment. Where'd that go? That disappeared. Top chat? No. Oh, there's Zeus Scott. Loud and clear. Thank you. Live chat. By the way, everybody, hello. I'm Aphrodite Rose Starfire. Oh, welcome to my channel. It is Sunday, March 12th, 2023. And it's a nice cloudy-ish day. I wanted to say sometimes, like, during my live stream, even though I'm not, like, so on top of my comments as they go, even after it's published, there's comments on there that I don't see while I'm live that end up showing up after it's published. So if I'm not responding to you, it might be that I don't actually see the comment. Hi, Peyton. What's up? So thanks, Lisa Rose, 18. I watched probably a good 80% of Fleur Burns' 4-hour live stream yesterday. And I saw Lisa Rose 18. Shout out to you. Shout out to Wilco in the UK. What up, Wilco? Holding it down. Yeah, you guys were like totally on point. I would have like backed you up, but I'm blocked on like every channel for Fleur Burn. She blocked me a long time ago and I can't talk. And she's like put out copyright strikes against me on the video that I posted of her talking about flying monkeys and linking that to James Munder and her lip touch, nose touch signaling video that I had done. But yeah, so Lisa Rose 18 and Wilco both caught on that she kept on shouting out J Dreamers. Like, first of all, I want to say that I 100% believe Fleur Burn is a CIA agent. I think she confirmed that 100% yesterday. All of her wrenches, or a lot of her wrenches, actually kept on bringing up the CIA in their comments yesterday, like as a reference. They're like, CIA documents, CIA. Like, these are people that had a wrench. I think one of the persons was like targeted serpent or something like that, was a wrench person that kept on bringing up the CIA as a reference. But Fleur Byrne was definitely pushing a multitude of agendas yesterday, operating a brainwashing, programming of the truther community, the people, the spiritual community, the New Age community, the plasma apocalypse community, especially she bridges over with people in the Black community. And I feel like she really is weaponizing race. I think she's really pushing racial ideals, like racist ideations. And she's doing a lot of doublespeak, which is kind of a serpent characteristic. But she kept on name dropping Jade Dreamers and Archaics, and in the same breath of mentioning Archaic, she started talking about being a predator and being like a sexual predator. It's like, how can you like talk about Archaics and thinking he's like a cool dude, and then in the same breath bring up like, oh, but you have to be a certain frequency and you can't be a sexual predator, blah 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 blah. It's like, do you know Jay Dreamers and Archaics' history? But yeah, she kept on shouting out Jay Dreamers that she loves his work and she watches his videos and she like really respects him, blah blah blah, which is a bunch of BS. I think they're all just agents supporting each other. I think they are CIA agents. I don't know if Jade Dreamers actually has been like recruited as one. He's like a wannabe. Archaics probably is a full-blown CIA agent, and Fleur Byrne for sure is a full-blown CIA agent. I have a list of things that she was doing last night. Yeah, Lisa Rose, she also kept giving Archaics credit. Galapagos, Jay's channel is dying, it seems like. Really? Why do you say that, Galapagos? Jay Dreamer is what he doesn't really have. Like, I haven't really seen him have like any really of his own material, his own ideas. He kind of just reviews things and regurgitates other people's ideas. As far as I'm concerned, he kind of like does little kind of school teacher sessions of like lectures and stuff about, you know, mythology, and like I don't respect his work. I don't think he's done any real work. Like, I feel like he basically has just regurgitated Brian Austin Lambert 33's stuff. And there's another guy that's saying it too, that started showing up in my feed about how we're on a crater in the moon, and the moon is just a reflection of the greater Earth, and we're like in a crater, and there's like this greater landmass, which for the most part is Antarctica. But that's what the ice wall is because we're inside of a crater. But that was kind of also the theory of Brian Austin Lambert 33. So Lisa Rosa, to me, she makes up a lot of fear porn. Yeah, Fleur Byrne is like totally a fearmonger. Okay, so first let's talk about her racist stuff. Okay, so Fleur Byrne really pushes the fact that she's Black, she's Creole. So she grew up in New York City, but her heritage, her ancestry, I believe, is Creole. Maybe like the Caribbean islands, maybe like Dominican Republic. I don't think she's Haitian. She brings up Haiti a lot, and she has like her shout outs to her peeps, her shout outs to her peeps here, shout outs to her people here, la 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 la. And her zombies, which, you know, she really like stressed in the beginning of her live stream yesterday that everything's a spell, things are spells, words are spells, blah 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 blah. So, you know, like, they have to tell you, right? They have to tell you in plain sight. It's like a consent thing. So she's like already like she's like making the bed that like everything's a spell, blah 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 blah. And then like she has her zombies, her like zombies, that just kind of is her cult of people that just kind of, you know, pat each other on the back for having the same ideas. because she doesn't like being challenged. Because if she actually did like have like a constructive way of like developing ideas, she wouldn't have blocked me. So like, but yeah, she's really pushing the racial thing of black people against white people. She calls white people lunars. So she'll say a lunar male, a lunar female, and when she says that, she means a white person, a white male, a white female. I think that's racist. I don't like her calling white people lunars. I've never really even heard that. She's the only person I've heard that says that. I do watch Bro Sanchez occasionally. I think he's even like linked on my channel as like a fellow channel. I grew up in the Bay Area. Like, I grew up in some like hood areas. I lived in Oakland for a really long time on MacArthur. I'm not saying, whatever. Like, I don't like how it's okay for black people to make black only stuff. Like, it's like even when I've tried to participate in Bro Sanchez's like chat and stuff, it automatically becomes like a racial thing. Like, oh, like you're white or something, and it won't even be like a racial issue. And it's like, why does it have to be like that? Like, why is it, it's like this whole like propaganda, like separation programming thing. But it's like Fleur Byrne she like takes this and she twists it. It's like she was like talking about like tones and how it's all like a programming about darkness, and that there's like variations in darkness in every race, and they're trying to say that there's races, but there really isn't races. But then in the same breath, she was saying like, actually it's the opposite. So dark people are actually light people, and light people are actually dark people. So it's like, if there is no significance on color of skin tone that you're saying, why in the same breath are you saying, well, dark people are actually light people and light people are actually dark people? So you just think about that. So she's putting this value system on skin tone, like right there. So she's saying like the darkest people are actually the lightest people, like saying that like in some way dark people actually have more light or more goodness or more soul essence. I don't really know what she's saying, but it's just like she's putting this value system. So she's talking in the double speak, like saying like, oh, they're trying to separate us, but then in the same breath, the dark people are actually the lightest people, have the most light. And then she like brings up the movie Get Out as like the direct message to the black man that he needs to get out. She said that I did think that there was some truth to this statement that she was saying, that which didn't have anything to do with skin tone, was that we are going to become we are the new indigenous people. Like everybody in America is the new indigenous people that are going to get the blankets with the infections on it, that we're the new Trail of Tears. Like there's people coming in to stake a claim on our land, and we're the indigenous people getting screwed over. Like I got that, and that has nothing to do with skin tone. Like there's black Americans, there's white Americans, there's Native Americans, there's Asian Americans, there's Hispanic, Mexican Americans, there's all kinds of Americans here that are going to be the new indigenous people. Like, but then she like puts this value system on race, and it just is really icky. I don't like it. I feel like she drives the wedge in. She said like, oh, the old age was the lunar male was the one in power, and now it's going to be the black female is going to be the one in power. And that's going to be the switch. So now everybody's trying to be like a black female, I guess. And I just find it really like I actually like a lot of the movies that you see, it is the black female that is the one in highest power already. Like in the Matrix, the black old female is the she's not the black female old, she's not the, is she the no, she's not the architect. Or maybe she is the architect. Like she sends Neo to the architect, but then he actually finds out she's really the architect. But she kind of just presents herself as a she's the Oracle. Thank you. Yes. Yeah, she's the Oracle. But then also like I haven't seen the movie, but the one, is it the witches? It's the time. I know it's like Oprah. Like Oprah's always like the biggest like head authority, the matriarch. Like there's so many like movies and like things where like the head matriarch, the one actually with the power in the movie or in the story, is the older black woman. And it's like, so like it's just like trying to spin these power plays based on race, and it's like I just don't like it. It's like Fleur Burn, do you want white people as your slave? Like is that like the goal? Like is that like what would feel like some kind of victory? Is that what you're saying? So yeah, I'm gonna move on to a different topic. Thanks, JM. Okay, let's go back. Hi, Fifth World. Hey, April. Okay. Galapagos says, I think the drama between Archaics and Jay is real. I used to follow. Galapagos says, Jay back in the day, and he would get Archaics level of views on his channel, and now he doesn't even get half of that. Also, Jay and Jason drama might be real. Fifth World, hi, much love, going roller skating. You're going roller skating today, April? Woo! That's awesome. You should film it. Galapagos, just from my perspective, Jay cannot make new content. All the Plasma Apocalypse content is old. Almost everyone knows about it by now. And that's something too that Fleur Burn was like kind of touching on, is they can only copy like what does she call them? The walk-ins or the lifers. Yeah, like Jay Dreamer is a lifer. Like Fleur Burn, like the CIA agents, they drop truth. Like they drop truth, but then they also like coat it with like layers of like just like icky stuff to keep you preoccupied. But there are the lifers and the loopers like that make the grilled cheese on the back of the toilet seat. Like I totally get that, and that's like Jay Dreamers. Like they only have like a certain amount of shit to work with. Like that's why like the movies are repeated. Like she's on, that's truthful, but she's spinning like the people that are conscious and awake and people that are watching her content are already at a certain level, and it's like she's trying to like twist it so like the people that still have like certain resentments about race or like feel like they've been jilted in their life for this reason or that, she's like playing on that so that you still want like this hierarchy of like us versus them. And it's like you're either awake or you're not. And it's like awake people, I don't think really care about the racial stuff, and we see it for what it is. Like it's just this, because there are so many black people that are asleep, there are so many black people that are awake, there are so many white people that are asleep, there are so many white people that are awake, there are Chinese people that are asleep, there are Chinese people that are awake. You know, there's white people from Canada that are asleep, there's white people from Canada that are awake. You know, like it's not really a racial thing, and I don't think there's like, you know, more black people are more awake than more white people. I don't think so. I feel like it's a really even distribution of the way people look. It's almost like kind of like the starseed thing. Like we kind of like spattered out into like a variety of locations, of different ley lines, like different storylines, all to have like the best sphere of influence on the people around us, to like a rescue mission to hopefully wake them up too. But it's like, why is she like, because it's like Fleur Burn has not experienced like as far as I see, she has not experienced the typical racial oppression that people have. She grew up in New York, going to like the mystery schools. Her dad like was on Wall Street making bank. And that was something that's why she's wealthy. That's why she said that she bought a trailer, but she's not living in it. That's why she can travel all around, and she like rubs it in your face. Like, you need to be traveling too. Because she doesn't have like the actual comprehension that people can't just get up and travel. Like, people have to like, they have obligations. They have to like, to be able to move, they have to like drop a lot of money, like to be able to get out of a lease, or to put gas in the tank, or to put stuff in storage, or, you know, or people have kids that are tied to schools, and, you know, they don't have the money to homeschool their kid, or they don't have the resources. You know, they don't have the money to pay for a super high Wi-Fi bill and an Airbnb in Colombia for 6 months. Like, they don't have the income to like pay for the layover at whatever airport that you're flying to this month. You know, like, I kind of got off track here. Yeah, I was going to get to the van life thing. Yeah, so what I was saying is, she grew up wealthy, and then she had this like blip of experience experimenting on rats, I believe, when she was living in Texas. Like, she graduated from like super high school really early, and she was like this whiz kid college student, whatever. So it's like she's never like felt like lack, like extreme lack or poverty. She's always had like a cushion. So it's easy for people to talk about what you should do when you always have these resources. And like, I don't know how people feel about racial things when you have like really, really rich Black people talking about how they're like being discriminated against and stuff. Like, I don't know, because I see white people being discriminated against all the time, especially like poor white people. But I don't really think it's cool to like do a value system on skin tone, and like play the be a like, you know, think that you're owed something. Especially because she's like, it's like I think she actually is a CIA agent. I really do. And she's pushing this racial crap because it would be one thing if she like grew up in the projects and, you know, like got a scholarship to Harvard and had to like, you know, work her way into the social circles and, you know, play a role. And like, yeah, we've heard that story a million times, and that's not even her story. She was already in the social circles. She was born into the wealth. Like, she never had to work into it. She never had this, like, where was the struggle? There's no struggle. But yet she says the tables are going to get turned, blah, blah, blah. Like, so she also was talking about the smart cities, and that there, and this is like, if she wasn't a CIA agent, she would call out Jay Dreamers for the fool that he is, and Archaics for the fool that he is. Like, why would she align herself with a rapist like that? Like, you know, unless there's some incentive to promote their content, like, it doesn't make any sense to me. So she said that in the next coming year, probably end of December, the USA is going to be split, and Trump is going to rule like the inner part of America, from like Florida to Idaho, part of Oregon, that whole thing, and Washington. And then Russia is going to take over Alaska, and she's like said take back California, which didn't make any sense because California used to be part of Mexico, so I don't know what she was talking about with that. And it's like I kind of thought Florida was going to be underwater pretty soon. Like she also said that the Caribbean islands, a lot of them would disappear. So I don't know how that works if Trump is going to have the new White House in Mar-a-Lago, but it's going to be underwater at the same time. That doesn't really seem like that like jives correctly. Yeah, so she said that the smart cities are concentration camps, that they're gonna herd you in. She said that there's gonna be lots of dam breaks. She brought up Dr. Emoto again. Oh, I also recorded the part where she said blood in, blood out, blood in, blood out. Like, that's like a blood over intent thing. It has to do with the plasma. So she doesn't really cohesively connect her theories between it being like an organic plasma field versus the looper time loop program, the simulation hologram. She doesn't really link the connection, as far as I'm concerned, between the organic like plasma and the actual hologram. She was also talking about, so this is also why she's CIA, because she was pushing kind of the van life thing for a while. She was pushing like getting out of the country. Everybody needs to get out of the country during COVID when nobody could leave the country, but she somehow could, and her like private jets with her dogs and to Brazil and Colombia, to her people, her zombies, whatever, eating her perfect fruit. It's like she was like, oh, don't drink the water, don't eat anything from the grocery store. And I think she put on her lip gloss like 5 different times, her like MAC nanobot soaked lip gloss, and then she has her like Trenti, Venti, Starbucks. Don't drink the water, anything from the grocery store, zombies, anything. It's gross. You're gonna get gross. It's like, bitch, like people gotta eat. Like, how can you be like slapping on your nasty lip gloss and like, drinking your like super corporate nanobot Starbucks in the same breath saying people don't drink their water? Like, who are you? Like you don't make any sense. You don't make any sense. You're probably making dollars and cents, out your ass because you sold your soul. Like, I don't know how you can be telling people not to go to the grocery store to buy food and you're drinking a Starbucks. I think that's pretty gross. I think that's gross. But yeah, she for a while was promoting getting out, doing van life. She bought a trailer. She said she got her bug out plan. I think that was when she was like back with her ex-husband for a brief moment, or there was some man with her traveling around. And she's like, I got my man, I'm in like my bug out location in Wyoming somewhere, because that's where the super wealthy people go, where they have their land in Wyoming. But last night she's like, oh, you don't see me in my trailer. You don't see me because you saw what happened in Paradise. They're going to go after the metal that it just melts. Did you see it? Did you see there are all the trees? It's like, yeah, but I also didn't see any houses. Like, you think a house is going to save you, Fleur Burn? Because I kind of saw all the houses vaporized. Do you think being in a brick and mortar house is now preferable to being in a mobile home or a van? Because a van is grounded, like it's grounded with tires. So actually, like, you can get struck by lightning on a car and survive because it doesn't go through. I don't know if she knew that, but unless you're like touching the metal in your vehicle, you can survive. So I don't know about the houses though, because in Paradise, I sure saw a lot of houses vaporized. I did see some cars though. I did see a lot of cars that were half melted. I did see trees, but I didn't see houses. I didn't see houses. They were dust. So Fleur Burn, your kind of theory about what happened in Paradise, so you shouldn't be in a van life situation, is kind of like falls through the cracks. So that's just a flip on her CIA thing. Like, it's like they want everybody to get rid of their property, their valuables, and then she wants people to go back into a box and settle down, maybe like in an apartment or something. But the reason why she's not in her trailer is because she's bougie. She's a bougie bitch. She don't want to live the trailer life. It's hard. It's tough. It's a tough life, Fleur Burn. Yeah. When you live on the road and you actually walk the walk, it's tough. It's tough. You know, not everybody is a trust fund baby and just have endless resources, you know. So, yeah, I don't know why you're like live streaming with your zombies every night till 4 a.m. It seems kind of weird. Maybe you're bored. I don't know. But yeah, the reason why she's not living in her trailers, not because she's scared about the plasma apocalypse, is because she rich. She rich, bitch. She rich. So she can have her trailer, she can have her jet, she can have all of her dogs fly around with her. She can, you know, tell you don't do the van life anymore, even though she like told everybody to get out, get out, get out, get out. It's all a spell. Get out to my people, get out. Like, but listen to me, everything's a spell. Like, she is a looper. Fleur Burn is a looper, okay? She's a CIA looper. The CIA is run by gray aliens, okay? This has come out in American Horror Story. There used to be a video on YouTube that showed Fleur Burn is this witch, Creole witch. It's not Baba Yaga. I know. I want to say Baba. It starts with a B, the name of this witch. And they even talk about this, I think this specific witch on American Horror Story, the witch version, because it takes place in New Orleans, which is all like Creole. And it's also hoodoo. It's this voodoo witch. And that was from like the 1700s, I think. Maybe late 1700s. Like the time of when, you know, like Interview of the Vampire was supposed to be New Orleans, like where they kind of wore the fluffle. But the pictures, the drawings of this witch, this Creole, she was famous, looks exactly like Fleur Burn. It's like the loopers, you know, where they show pictures of people like Donald Trump. He's been in like these reincarnated. They're loopers. Fleur Burn's one of them. But they've taken this video down. Like it used to exist. Do you guys know the name of the is it Bruja? But it's so weird. It's like a drawing animation of this witch woman, and she like she has like her hair wrapped up. She has like big bosoms, and it's like the face is exactly like Fleur Burn. It's like the same person. Really weird. Yeah. All right. So let me just say what you guys are reading. There's more things that she said that you want me to talk about. Bring it up. She talked a lot. Okay. Hi, Monica. Hi, Paradox Fossils. Monica says, I used to follow her, but she isn't into white women. Yeah. Well, she really is into Linnea. She's, I find it weird when certain people, like, all of a sudden start paying attention to certain other people because, you know, like, I've been in the YouTube sphere for a really long time now, and like the spiritual truther, consciousness awakening community, conspiracy, you name it. And there's some people that have been in this crowd for a long time, and the people that are true people are all about connection, right? Like we want to connect each other, we want to get together, we want to spread each other's ideas. Like we get excited when we sync up, like with the same kind of revelations. And like Linnea Linnea Fairy Light Gin in Costa Rica, she's one of those people, and all of a sudden, because, you know, Blood Over Intent, there's so many people that you guys don't even know because they don't talk about it anymore, that did Blood Over Intent. And, you know, there's so many people that did Blood Over Intent, but, you know, you only need to do it once. It's not like something you need to, like make it like your part of your like daily life. It's just like an action that you do to separate, to like release your DNA from bondage and to release everybody else's DNA from bondage. A conscious choice to like help uplift humanity and get out of like the control system. So many of the YouTubers you probably watch have done this. Fleur Brun has even done this, but they just don't talk about it. But anyways, you know, Linnea and I have been, you know, we've been friends on YouTube for a long time, and all of a sudden Fleur Brun is like all up on Linnea's channel, like complimenting her, la 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 la. It's like there's something going on here. Like, why? I don't know. It's because Fleur Brun wants to maybe go to Costa Rica, and she's like trying to make friends. I don't know, but she's also, now that Fleur Brun is like actually like name dropping and like promoting J-Dreamers and Archaics, she's like trying to like do this sphere of influence on people. And so I just like want you guys to be aware of it. Like, there is something going on about manipulating the perspective on things. Yeah, because Fleur Brun like never used to really name drop really other YouTubers, like, but yeah, you're right. She doesn't like white women. She blocked me a long time ago. Lisa Rose says, oh, and Fleur Brun was saying van life is dangerous. Yeah. Timo, moon is reflecting other people's things. Monica, it's all division. Monica, exactly. Fermented moose nuts. Fleur Brun sounds like a loon. There's like a bajillion motives with Fleur Brun going on, that's for sure. Monica says, I've thought that for a long time. Motorcycles. Hi, Mr. West. Nothing makes sense anymore. JM says, I live in Alaska. Hey, JM, how much do they pay you to live in Alaska nowadays? I know that Alaska pays you to live there. I think like after 18 months of living there, maybe you get like a stipend because they use the land for oil drilling. How much is it per year? Is it like $1,500 or is it like $5,000? Timo says, remember when they were going to split the state of California? I know. And she's like, it's like the same old story. Like, I don't know if it's just this fear porn perspective thing, but they've been talking about the cessation of California and Jefferson. Was it Jefferson County or Jefferson State? It was supposed to be like the other state. It's been going on forever. Like, you know, Texas has always been about to secede from the Union. Like, same old story, you know. And like, oh, predicting the dams are going to break. Like, yeah, we all know Hoover Dam's going to break. We all know it's going to happen. Like, you want a gold star? Like, you know, Mr. West, economic collapse imminent, the internet told me. Yeah, apparently there's a big bank run right now. And shit's going to hit the fan tomorrow. But I'm not really putting energy into it. I'm not like warning any of my family members that aren't awake, because that ends up just biting you in the ass because things never end up happening. So, you know, hopefully by now you've already like set yourself up to be in a position that you can, you know, like get through. Like, yeah, it's pretty idiotic if you've fallen into the whole crypto thing. Like, I couldn't believe when Gary Warmadam started like buying crypto and like promoting crypto. It's like, okay. But his dad is CIA agent, so an actual known CIA agent. So I'm not surprised. But yeah, to think like, oh yeah, crypto, oh, it's all blockchain, like it's legit. Like, are you serious? Like, do you know who wrote the code? Like, these people, like, it's corrupt upon corrupt. Just stupid. The like trust that you could put, like, after being an awake person, to like put the trust back in. Oh well, yeah, you know. Timo, remember when, yeah, okay. James says Russia will not. I think Russia's very weak, is a very weak country. Mela Plate says, who are we talking about? I just can't. Fleur. Mr. West says, you say cohesively? Yeah, most channels are fear porn. Mr. West says, yes, most definitely. One guy been saying economic collapse for what seems like a year now. Yeah, and there's this one guy that looks just like my brother who died, Matthew. I think is it Patrick Humphrey? Where every day it's like his thumbnail is like, get out now! Like, shutting down. It's like the worst headlines. I thought the last one was like, it was like a riots in Texas, and then like you go into the story and it was just like a drifting race meetup where they were doing donuts, like in like a drifting sideshow thing, and it was like, and the cops came to break it up, and he's like, those are riots in the streets in Texas. Like, come on. And Lauren Pritchard is now dreaming about me. It was not yesterday, 2 days ago. Like, there's something about Lauren Pritchard, I just have to click on her, and then usually I like listen for about 5-10 seconds, and I just can't stand it, and I have to click off. I don't know, like, there's just something. Maybe she was like my sister in a past life, but there is something connecting me to her. And I do have that video about dreaming. I had a dream about her in the cafeteria, and she didn't want to talk to me. But yeah, Lauren Pritchard just talked about a dream 2 nights ago. And she said that she was at an apartment at the ocean, and she knew the flood was coming. And she went to the second story, and she's seeing the water rush in, the tsunami, and there's floating by a statue of Aphrodite. And I was like, it was like right as I was turning her off. And she's like, I'm at the second floor, and as washed by is a statue of Aphrodite. I was like, what? Aphrodite? And then she's like, and Aphrodite was like the goddess of love and beauty and blah, blah, blah. And she said she was horrified. She was horrified. And then washed past was a statue of Athena, Minerva, and she was happy. And then I turned her off. But I was like, okay. I thought it was interesting. She said it was Aphrodite and not Venus. Because usually people that have some kind of thing against me, they won't say Aphrodite anymore. They'll just say Venus. But I can't really comment on her because she blocked me. She blocked me on Christmas. Yeah, Bruja, isn't Bruja like a term, like a calling somebody a Bruja? Bruja is not like an actual name. Yeah, I think Fleur is trying to like, yeah, dial the frequency just like her Dr. Emoto. Like she wants people to be suspicious. She wants people to like not trust each other. I don't know. It's like she wants people to like one up each other. It's not really like a community vibe. Galapagos says fear porn everywhere. Mr. West says, yes, most definitely one guy been... So yeah, okay, I already read this. Fear is only temporary. Yeah, I'm not worried about that. Yeah, don't worry about it. Monica says, I'm in Ohio. It's pretty bad in that area. Oh no, Monica. Can you smell? Is it smell in the air? Does it smell like chemicals? People are dying. Mr. West, unless you ground yourself. High etheric bless. Tires insulate cars. Yes, that's right. So it's like actually a van life would be the safest. It's like she was like promoting this it's like, she's like, did you see paradise? I'm like, yeah, I saw paradise and I saw cars. I saw cars that maybe got zapped and half melted. But I didn't see houses. The houses were like dust. There was no like half house. It was like dust. So I don't know that the like Many people can only afford the cheaper foods. Yeah. And I don't think Fleur is growing her own food. She talks out of her butt. Monica says, I'm in Ohio. It's pretty bad. Oh, no. Okay. Rubber. Yeah. Yeah, rubber soles on your shoes. Lap goes, it's crazy because then the glass was evaporated. Mr. West, you're not grounded to the metal van, I assume. Yeah, you can't really be, like, if you're touching the metal, if it gets zapped, then you're connected to the metal. But if you're, like, sitting on a chair in the van and the van gets zapped, you're not going to, the tires ground you. So, tires are steel belted and grounded. Then it's not. Lisa Rose says, I hate when people say grow your own food. Everyone doesn't have land and nice weather. Hunting would actually make more sense. Yeah, and it's like she's like seriously like sipping on her Starbucks and putting on lip gloss as she's saying, I grow my own food, la 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 la. I don't love it. You see me in my trailer? Did you see what happened in Paradise? Like, I really highly doubt she's growing her own food. Growing your own food, like, you need to have done it like a few times to be good at it. I've grown tomatoes and I did really, really good at it, but I like worked on it every single day when I got home from work. And then you have all this food at once that you have to figure out what to do with. And so like you either have to preserve it really fast in like a canning situation or freeze it. And so then if you freeze it, that means you have to have access to electricity. So, yeah, it's this whole thing. And it's like at any step of the way, things can go wrong. Like you get pests. Like when I was growing my tomatoes, I was trying to do it like all organically. So I would like spray the leaves every day when I got home from work with this like garlic, lemon juice, cayenne pepper, like organic insecticide that I made myself. Spray every leaf, and then I'd pull off the worm caterpillars every day, pull them off myself by hand. You know, so it's like any step of the way your crop can be decimated. Like you can have a bad weather night, everything gets pulled up by the weather. You could have pests come in and eat it all up. You can have an animal come in and root it all up. You know, you could have a flood, you could have some kind of contamination. And it's like all of that work, all of that investment of time is like gone. And then also like, oh, you could have a greenhouse, or you can grow things indoors if you're in the city. Yeah, but I don't know if you've ever grown things indoors, but you usually get lots of bugs, like lots of little gnats flying around, and then you can like get like weird like stinky fungus, or you know the moisture is not right. So yeah, it's all good and great. It's just a bunch of CIA propaganda bullshit. Don't go to the grocery store. And she's like literally putting on her like MAC lip gloss. And this is also, I could not count how many times Fleur Byrne said the word usher. She said usher in. Usher, usher, usher. Usher, usher in. Usher, usher, usher. Usher in, usher in, usher. It ushered, ushered, usher. I was like, oh, like I stopped counting after 5 of many times. She said the word usher so many times. It was like a deliberate code word. So what is an usher? Usher is somebody that ushers in you from one land to another in kind of like the doorman, the Grim Reaper, at the river, at the river Styx is it Voltaire? No, who's at the river Styx? It's Shandon? No. Who's the guy that's at the river Styx that usher you across? It's in this book, Voltaire. What's the name of the guy? The boatman. There's ushers at weddings that walk you down the aisle. In the Masons, the doorman is named Tyler. That's the name of the doorman, is named Tyler. So Tyler is the usher. That's the name of my ex-husband. His name was Tyler. She said usher, usher. And I also think of umpire for some reason. I think of like an umpire catcher for some reason for usher. An usher usually wears a tuxedo or something like that, or like a something with coattails. Maybe a bow tie or something. An usher, gusher, Asher, Phoenix. She wanted to say Phoenix a lot. Usher. Oh, Usher is a pop star, right? Yeah, Usher. You make me want to leave one with, start a new relationship with you. This is what you do. Thinking on the things that come on with you make me want to leave the one I'm with, start a new relationship with you. This is what you do. That's my Usher. I hope you guys like that. You make me leave the one I'm with. Okay. Usher. Remember when Usher was with Chili? That was great. I loved that. Chili and Usher, they were great. Whoa, you guys have been commenting. I'm sorry, I'm going back. Going back in time. People right now are really relating time with, Kronos. And if you guys watch the thing on my community page about Aphrodite and time, Aphrodite and Satan, it kind of explains it. Like, love conquers time. And time is the hourglass. Yeah, okay. It says, Mr. West says, but unless you're touching metal, you should be all right. Yeah. I can't grow my own food either. Timo says, it takes a couple years to grow your own food. Etheric Breast says, Bruja? Yeah, I feel like Bruja, it was part of the name of this old witch. Creole. It was like a Creole witch that Fleur looks exactly like. Mr. West, duh, just grow your own food. Watery, petunia, bazooms. Yeah, I remember you from way back. Melly played Madame Marie Naveau. Oh, that is one of the witches, the black witches, Madame Marie Laveau. But I don't know if it's the same one. I think it might be a different one. Because I think Madame Marie Laveau looks different. Looks like how Angela Bassett, who played her in American Horror Story, I think she looks more like that. But there's like somebody else, another witch that looks like Fleur. It might be, but I think there might be different, two, like more than one head, voodoo witch over time. But this one looks like Fleur. Most people just disappear. Monica, I've been here a long time too. Call time. Yeah. Archaics is MF Wild. Multiply. Yeah, what's with these like, oh, that's something too. Archaics is like, what time is it? He's like to his little butt buddy now. He just like asks him what time it is. Multiply. The witch, if B. Orleans, is Mary Laveau. Won't know how to spell the last name or remember this thing about her. Rinse and repeat. Watery. Lots of channels disappeared. Used to like Dave J. Truth Virus, Hooked on Your Hoax, Learn of the Jesuit Order, even Miss Jamie Deluxe still makes videos. Search Jamie Deluxe, because he has had to have a separate channel, and he actually just made a really good video about retroviruses and that whole hoax thing. Timo says, used to be, but the other channels I've never even heard of. Truth Virus, Hooked on Your Hoax. Timo says, used to be something is out to get you. Mr. West says, I barely got much money, so what it is. Nope, just winging it. Lisa Rose, Jeff Berwick is a big crypto scammer. Oh, and also Seven Bomar. Oh my gosh, Understanding. He pumps the crypto scam. Ugh, he's gross though. He's like super alien. Mr. West, jails are being released now. No. Yeah, it was like Fleur was talking about that. Like rapists are being released early, and it was like literally after she like just like complimented Jason Brashears. I was like, do you like? It's like it is all spells. Like if you aren't catching her like she has to have enough awareness to know, like, you can't, like, she's talking about rapists being released, and then she mentions Jason Pursuers, or like, come on. ET serves, I sent that to you, Aphrodite. You are down by the ocean. Oh yeah? Sounds fun. The day she got a vision of you, Aphrodite, horrified at the cataclysm. You were down by the ocean that day. Oh. Bruja is like a witch. Oh yeah, Bruja is like a term, yeah. Okay. ET service executive says, I'm the angel in Revelation that has a foot in the water and the other in land, rainbow over his head. Hey, yellow cake maker, what's up? Did I get any good pictures of this dusted area? Are you talking about in paradise? The pictures of where the houses like totally were pulverized, like there's like no like remnants. Like it's funny, she was like, did you see paradise? Did you see? Yeah, it's like there are no, like, there's not even rubble. Like, it was actually like evaporated, like it incinerated to, like, was like teleported or something. Like there was no rubble. Like when there's usually a fire, like there's like embers, like there's like pieces of wood that are still like half burnt and charcoal, and like there was nothing. But I did see like half melted cars. Like most of the cars, like they weren't evaporated like the houses were. Monica says, I have noticed some strange smells. The windstorms here are ramped up. Yikes. The Angry Prepper, his name is Jason as well. The Angry Prepper, he's in Ohio right now. He just went to East Palestine, and he was live streaming last night from, I guess, ground zero, and showing the, like, what they're doing for the cleanup. And he's like, yeah, I'm just risking it. He just retired as a firefighter. He was living in New York City. I think he still is. But yeah, he drove out to Ohio, and he was filming the area, live streaming it. And it was like, there was like maybe 2 bulldozers like on different ends, just kind of like scraping the ground. And there was like it wasn't like roped off. He could walk on the tracks. There were still trains going on the tracks. They'd only ripped up like one portion of the actual track, but he said that they were going to have to rip up the rest of the track because I guess the dust underneath is contaminated. But there was like no containment. It was just, and he's like, it looks like they're just like going through the motions. Like he said, there was a bunch of guys just kind of poking around at the ground. Like it was like they were just trying to like act like they were looking like they were doing something, but nobody was really even doing anything. They're kind of just pushing stuff around to look like something is being done, but nothing's really being done. I didn't watch it for very long. He did start to say he was starting to get a headache, but he was like, I don't know if it's from, being stressed out and rushing around and traveling and all that. But he said, he was talking to a lot of people in the town, and he said, like, I wish he would like interview people. That would be cool. But the town's kind of split between like half who have faith in the actual company, like to let them fix their wrongs, and the other half is like, this is effed up. We need to like, fight it or whatever. I don't know. But I guess a lot of people are getting sick, and their kids are having really bad headaches. He said he talked to a woman with 2 kids that was really distraught, and she was going to move to California for a while because her kids were getting sick. Like, I think she said there was not coughing up blood, or I don't know. It's pretty sad. Monica, so I hope you're okay. If you, I don't know. You have to follow your instincts, though. Like if you start feeling sick, even if you have ties to the area, it might be time to move somewhere that it's not going to make you sick. Hickory chips. Etheric Bliss says tires will insulate from the top on top, but bottom up they may attract electricity, but literally from the ground, not grounded wires. JM says I just moved back to Alaska, haven't gotten a dividend yet, but I do get benefits because I'm native. Okay. Etheric Bliss will insulate from the top down. Bad squirrel. Timo, I watched Paradise Fire start. It looked like nuke went off from the very beginning. If you are sprayed with chemtrails, you are an antenna that is hooked up into the quantum grid. Timo, we had a funny 3 a.m. wind that never happens here that started it. Oh. Rusher the Usher. Derek Bliss, wood porches rot out with a balcony garden as well. Yeah. It's like the moisture. A lot of long-term issues with trying to grow in an apartment. Yeah. Mr. West, an R&B artist Usher. Yeah. I thought it was him for a moment. The theory was the ferryman or the boatman will take you across the Styx. Yeah, but what's his name? Is it? It's not Shandon or Chaucer. That's not. It's in the. Is it Voltaire? I know it's in the book Voltaire. What is it? Is it Chaucer? I feel like it's a CH name. Timo, is someone telling you how to grow without getting their fingers dirty? Yeah, exactly. I hope you're not screwed in Ohio. ET. Whoa. That's a lot of stuff. Okay. Mr. Rose, how do some people CIA ties? Oh, bye. Unless you got smoked out. Chiron? Is it Chiron? It might be Chiron. Is Chiron the name of the guy that... I know Chiron is the centaur. Right? The centaur that is the healer, the wounded healer. The smart centaur. That was the doctor. But is that also the name of the usher for the River Styx? Yes, in Paradise. Did you get any pics out of there? I never went there. I just saw, like, when it happened, people posting the drone footage on YouTube. And then some people went there. I think Queen Anana Snow went there. Yeah. And she was reporting from there. Hi, Kat. What's up? 3 hours away. Oh, I've been doing anti-radiation treatment with baking soda and sea salt. I think, don't you need iodine? I think if you can get your self some iodine, maybe online. Timo, if you don't feel good, run away. It's a natural instinct. Yeah. Yes, his name is Chiron. Yeah, it's spelled differently. Yeah. And it's like Sharon. Yes, that's the name. It also bothers me too when Fleur is like, she's like, I'm a Sagittarius. Yeah, like I'm a triple Sag. Yeah, I'm like a 6-time Sagittarius, depending on what you look at. If you count like south nodes and stuff. But yeah, I'm a 6-time Sagittarius, 4-time Scorpio. So I'm a Sagittarius. Yeah. So am I. I'm more Sagittarius than you, Fleur. Monica, I take iodine, but baking soda and sea salt was used after Fukushima. Yeah. It's hard to know what they tell us is, legit information. I do think radiation has a really big component to whatever's happening with our consciousness upgrade, because radiation has played a huge part in my life, at least radiation exposure. My mom, before she got, maybe even when she was pregnant with me, she was a UPS driver, delivery driver, my mom. for her route was Camp Pendleton and the nuclear power plant San Onofre in Oceanside, California. And there was this other business that she went to called Bell. It was like Bellcom, like telecommunications. It was this company called Bell. So she delivered to Bell, which was right next door to the nuclear power plant. So it was like every day my mom was going to the nuclear power plant, like Homer Simpson. And then she got pregnant with me. And my dad, at the same time, he would scuba dive at the nuclear power plant. Because in San Onofre, in San Diego, the nuclear power plant that they've decommissioned, back then when it had just actually gone online, like in 1982 or something, or the beginning of 1983. I was born at the end of 1983. But they use the ocean water they intake the ocean water to help cool the reactors. So they take the cold ocean water in, funnel it past the uranium, and it cools the uranium, right? Because they have to always circulate the uranium, and it's the steam that they use to generate the energy, because the uranium heats the water. So, but then they have the hot water funneling out into the ocean. So they're sucking in cold water and pumping back out really hot water back into the ocean. So they'd had these hot water outtakes pumping the water from the nuclear power plant back into the ocean. Now, like, the water doesn't actually touch the uranium, like everything's in pipes and insulated. So, but it's the heat transfer that creates the energy for the nuclear power plant. That's how it's the heat energy transfer, thermonuclear. But the water going back out to the ocean is way hotter. So around the outtakes of the pipes, there would be all kinds of tropical marine life. There would be all kinds of strange fishes, different types of corals, like stuff you would see in like the Mexico or the Caribbean that'd be growing around these hot water outtakes. So it made like really good scuba diving, because you would see stuff that wasn't really native to the area because the water was so much warmer around these outtakes from the nuclear power plant. So my dad used to scuba dive right out there, like before I was born. He'd scuba dive the nuclear power plant, basically. So it's like both my parents are exposed to a nuclear power plant before I was born, like on a kind of regular basis. And then I've chosen jobs where I'm exposed to high levels of radiation, like doing vascular surgery. I was in the cath lab doing angiograms and angioplasties with the fluoroscopy machine. So I'd have to gown up with lead, like a lead apron that was triple leaded to protect my ovaries, because I haven't had babies, and a thyroid shield. And you were supposed to wear leaded glasses, but I never liked to wear them because they're so heavy. Because a lot of times you're doing your operation, you have to look down. So these leaded glasses, I'd look down and they'd want to, you have it strapped to the back of your head, but it gets heavy and you're all masked up and everything. So then you have like the C-arm, that's you have a pedal that you're stepping on to ignite the radiation to take the X-ray, and you're like shooting dye into the arteries and veins at the same time to get like a movie of how the dye is flowing through the vessels. But so a lot of times I wouldn't wear the leaded glasses, so I was getting direct radiation, at least through my eyes, 3-4 cases a day. That stuff adds up. And I wouldn't wear, like, you're supposed to wear this like radiation monitor. A lot of times I'd forget to put it on. So yeah, like, I think radiation has a lot to do with this DNA upgrade, and yeah, it's just like an X-Man thing. Just like in Chernobyl, they got all kinds of different types of species. The animals and the plants did different things. But a lot of times people kind of thrive under certain levels of radiation. I know women used to take like radioactive pills for beauty back in like the 1920s. I had to play the game Dissembling Moss Landing. I couldn't wait to get out of there. I don't know what that means. Kat says, I have a DIY recipe for the SSKI super saturated solution of potassium iodide. Okay. You have to be a little careful with potassium iodide though, because I think that's what they use to stop your heart. I think that I almost died. Like, they didn't tell me I almost died, but I feel like I almost died, like when I was in the hospital for 7 days when I had a foot of my colon cut out of me. But right after my surgery, I had extreme hypokalemia, which is a low potassium. And usually you don't want to correct potassium via IV, because it's very, very dangerous with your heart. The electroconductivity of your heart muscle is very, very sensitive to potassium. So that's what they use to kill inmates, whatever, is the potassium iodide shot. Stops your heart. It makes it so the electricity can't conduct over your heart muscle. But so usually if you have really low potassium, they try to correct it through oral pills, like potassium pills. But I was like so low coming out of surgery, because you had to do the bowel prep for colon surgery, or surgery on your intestines. You have to do the bowel prep, go lightly, the day before, which I had to go to the emergency room before my surgery because I was so distraught from the go lightly. It like, like busts a hole in your butthole basically. Like you get like burning diarrhea where you can't leave the toilet all day long. And I was so like tore up and raw down there. Like I couldn't get out of the bathtub. My mom took me to the emergency room in a diaper. And this was like, I was supposed to show up for pre-op for my surgery. So I showed up through the emergency room. But when they make you have diarrhea to clean out your intestines before surgery, that also messes with your potassium. So I was so low on potassium coming out of surgery that they put me on a potassium IV. And it was here, and I have veins that roll. So the potassium IV busted out, and I had a bolus of potassium. I think it was potassium iodide, I don't know, but I'm sitting under my skin because it didn't go in my vein. Probably because they were trying, my soul was trying to save me, because it maybe would have killed me if all of that potassium went into my heart. But yeah, they tried to do that must have what happened, because I remember waking up and like out of surgery, and then it was kind of like more hectic than it should have been when I was back in the hospital room, and my hand hurt so bad and it was all like swollen, and they're like, oh, your potassium. And it's like later when I went to medical school, it's like it's so rare that you give somebody potassium through the IV because it's deadly. Like that's what they use, that's like the kill shot. And yeah, like they tried to give me IV potassium, but my IV blew out. The IV fell out, and I got instead a subdermal potassium infusion under my skin. It was like this kind of red, it kind of burned. Oh, yeah, it was probably my soul trying to save me from dying. Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks, 25 people. Woo! All right, I'm going to end it now so it's not too long. Thanks. Like, share, subscribe. I love you all. Look out for these CIA agents pushing their propaganda, trying to separate us. It's a bunch of BS. If you're awake, you're awake. We all love each other. Don't get down in the get down. Love you. Bye.